Leadership is influence. This is my favorite definition of leadership. It is simple, straightforward, one-word description that places leadership within everyone's reach. All of us can exercise a certain degree of influence on someone at some point, in some place. Leadership isn't about titles, positions, or flow cards. It's about one life influencing another. Character is power. The first lesson we must each learn is that broad leadership is built from deep character. An infrastructure of great character is essential to support great conduct. The trust and involvement of our followers will be parallel to the level of our own character. Use power to help people, for we are given power not to advance our own purpose, nor to make a great show in the world, nor a name. There is but one just use of power, and it is to serve people. George Bush was right. We abuse our power when we utilize it for self-gain. One of the buzzwords of the 90s has been the word "empower." It simply means to give your power away. This is what people are longing for their leaders to do. This truth is anchored by Jesus in Matthew 20:26. Whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant. Failure can be divided into those who talks and never did, and into those who did and never talks. Someone once told me the world has two kinds of people, thinkers and doers. They then said the thinkers need to do more and the doers need to think more. I have always tried to do both, reflect and act. When I have combined the two, I have greatly reduced the odds of failure. Leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. I've always believed this principle. It's beautifully combined the necessities of both relationship and vision. I must live with the people to understand them and earn their trust. However, I am only their buddy if that is all I do. To be a leader, I must live with God and move with Him beyond where the people are. If they are to follow me, I must be ahead of them. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Most of us learn the hard way that leadership is not merely having a vision. Anyone can dream. Effective leadership is knowing how to lay down the action step for yourself and the organization that the vision can be realized. This requires us to be practical and to understand the process along the way. You manage things, you lead people. I must have articulated this principle 100 times during my years as a pastor. People don't want to be managed, organized, stereotyped, tagged, or filed. That's what you do with things in an office. People are dynamic and must be led through love and relationship. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. One of the least talked about prerequisite for leadership is a strong sense of personal security. Without it, I sabotage myself and my organization. With it, I can handle mistakes with perspective and have the ability to admit them, profit from them, and correct them. I don't know the key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody. One of the biggest of many of today's leaders is our compulsion to take surveys. It happens in politics and it happens in churches. A leader must go beyond being a people pleaser to being a God pleaser. If our need for the people's affirmation exceeds our needs for the God's affirmation, we are in trouble. Leadership sometimes means doing what's unpopular. You are the same today that you are going to be 5 years from now, except for two things: the people with whom you associate and the books you read. I read this statement by Charlie Jones years ago and I've become more convinced of its truth as time goes by. If you plan to become great, We must determine to expose ourselves to great books and great people. Their input will influence our growth more than anything else. Choose both wisely.